Remember that Super Smash Bros. Game? Yeah, neither do I. Just kidding. Well, now we're delving into my childhood. It's a dark and scary place. Or really just kind of boring. Super Smash Bros. Melee was, as I mentioned in my earlier video, one of the first real games I ever played. I don't exactly count the Finding Nemo game as a real game, just because it was quite mediocre. So, of course, I spent as much time as possible playing Melee. After getting it, I pretty much just spent the entire day playing it. I mentioned in the earlier video I had to have a timer on my game time because I played games too much. I remember my parents putting the timer at the top of the stairs and me actually sneaking up to add about 30 or so minutes to the timer, not exactly realizing that doing something stupid like that would possibly rise suspicion. It also took me a really long time to unlock everything. This was before the time of YouTube. The most popular way to find out things for games was on different game cheat websites. I actually printed out a whole guide on how to unlock things in many games, one of them being Melee. I don't believe I still have it, but all of these guides were in this huge compendium that I always consulted. Anyway, let's talk about the game. Compared to the previous Smash Bros., it was an enormous improvement. The core gameplay was the same, but there were so many different ways in which things were added or changed that it just felt like such an improvement. There was an extremely expanded roster, more stages, and my favorite thing, more solo play options. I'll talk about the stages and roster in a minute, but I want to show the new things they added for solo play first. Remember how the last game there was a one-player mode and that was it? Well, a bit more options in this game. Along with the classic one-player mode, so incredibly cleverly named Classic Mode, they added in Adventure Mode, Events, Stadium, and All-Star Mode. I don't have any footage of All-Star Mode because of the thing I mentioned in my intro video, how I always reset my progress and became too lazy to unlock everything again. But the events were something completely new to everyone. Events were something to break up the monotony of the game, or at least that was their intended purpose. In truth, they kinda add monotony to an otherwise monotony-free game. Events were a great idea, and I still really do enjoy them. There are some events that are absolutely amazing, and I had so much fun playing. There's one that involves fighting Pikachu, but the only way to damage him is through Pokemon. It's a genius idea. And I would love it if there were more events like that. Another few events actually involve you fighting other fighters on a giant trophy. It was always sad that I couldn't unlock these stages myself because I really did like the idea of fighting on a giant Goomba or Majora's Mask. Again, something that I really wish was expanded on, maybe as a prototype of the stage creator. You could choose a trophy from the ones that you collected and battle on it. But yeah, not really worth talking about what it could have been rather than what it is. These are some of the things with the events that I love. Unfortunately, the game doesn't allow for every event to be a great time. Some of the events, like King of the Jungle, are just annoying. In King of the Jungle, you're a giant DK fighting a tiny DK. Sounds fun, right? Well, maybe if you were allowed to hit him it would be. Or Spare Change, where it's literally just a coin fight as Ness against Captain Falcon. I also dislike Hide and Seek. I won't say that it's a bad idea because in theory it could be awesome, but in reality it's just annoying. Zelda and Sheik are constantly alternating forms and it just takes way more time than it needs to. Or King of the Mountain, where you have to climb an ice climber level and avoid dying. It's more boring than anything, especially since kills against the ice climbers do nothing. Yoshi's Egg is one that I don't really want to get into. When I was a child I had so much trouble with that one. In retrospect, hey, that word's used in the title. I guess it's not too bad, but just the fact that most of these events involve running away from enemies is kinda annoying. Stadium was pretty cool too, although nothing too crazy. It was just home run contest, break the targets, and multi-man melee. As much as I can get annoyed with multi-man melee, it really is quite cool. It can get annoying to get ganked by hordes of wireframe people, and I can never really figure out why cruel melee is even a thing, but regardless, it is pretty fun. I do really like the idea that a character can be unlocked through a 100-man melee, even with it being as annoying as it is. I actually remember reloading the level multiple times to get the song that I wanted, since the song that plays during 100-man melee is chosen randomly from a group of 3 songs. Speaking of unlocking characters, as you can see in the video, I actually did unlock someone. I just gotta quick say that no other game has given me the same feeling that I got when I see the challenger approaching thing in Melee. Just wanted to, real quick, interrupt here to say that Google Docs wants to autocorrect the 2 words challenger approaching to 1 word challenger approaching. Break the targets is something that I really enjoyed in this game too. It actually was involved in unlocking Mr. Game & Watch as well for some reason, but I don't really mind that. I enjoyed them in this game a lot, especially compared to Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo 64. Main reason why that is because the controls are so much more responsive in Melee. Home Run Contest was also introduced in this game, and I'm pretty indifferent about it. It never really attracted me because it just seems to be kinda random usually. I know there was a method to playing it well, but I never really enjoyed it too much. It was improved on a lot in the later games and got a lot more enjoyable, but at the time it was just kind of there. I will say that the stadium definitely should have had a race to the finish, and probably the trophy collection minigame. The trophy one was kind of stupid, and it doesn't work as well as it could, but it's alright. The race to the finish is the one that I love though. I had so much fun with it back when I first got the game, and I still do have fun with it now. It's a lot better than the Nintendo 64 version of Race to the Finish, main reason being that it's so much more expanded upon than the original. And it's just kind of fun to race as far as you can. Some characters can make it really far, as you can see with the captain here, but others can't, like Fernando. Now let's talk about my favorite of all the things in this game, Adventure Mode. Believe it or not, I actually like Adventure Mode more than Subspace Emissary and Brawl. It may be nostalgia that causes me to like it more, but I seriously love it so much. The Adventure Mode takes you through all different zones in the Smash Bros. Universe. Goes to places like the Mushroom Kingdom, to Hyrule, to F-Zero, to the Great Fox, and all sorts of different places. Most of these areas involve going through a level, like running with some cars in the F-Zero track, or exploring a cave in Hyrule. All the levels are really fun, and it's a completely different experience through each area. There's also a huge number of secrets involved in Adventure Mode. One of them involves getting Luigi to fight you with Peach, rather than Mario. Another involves making the final boss be Giga Bowser instead of regular Bowser. Another involves getting Falco to fight with Fox. There's a bunch more of these secrets, and it's really quite neat. I know that Subspace Emissary has more features than Adventure Mode and Melee, but something about Adventure Mode is just a bit more fun, and I actually feel like it has more replayability than Subspace Emissary. There are some things I like with Subspace Emissary more than Adventure Mode and Melee, but I'll explain those things in a later video. All-Star Mode is pretty cool, although not as amazing as its name makes it seem. It's really just go through and fight all the different fighters in this game in order based off of their games, with a break in between different fights. I've never really been a huge fan of All-Star Mode in any of the games, but it's alright. Just not my thing, but I recognize it as something that could be really fun. Multiplayer in this game was only better than it was in Smash N64. I really loved it, and have fun playing it even to this day. New items were added, tons of new stages were added, including many that I didn't unlock for the same reason that I don't have all the characters. And with an expanded roster, the question of how replayable this game is became a no-brainer. This is also the game where tournaments take place for all the time. The first tournament was in early 2002, and ever since then it's grown in popularity, having in the EVO 2015 tournament around 2,000 participants. It's a blast to play too, and as seen by the video on my channel, I have lots of fun with it, even after all these years. Now of course, it's not perfect. Like the previous game, and unlike the next two games, you can't pick up items while moving. You have to stop completely to pick up something. It's not too much of a big deal, but it can make fighting a little slower sometimes. Another thing they introduced in this game, which again gets mixed feelings from me, were the sounds. Every time someone is hit, it just sounds kind of meaty or crunchy or juicy, and not in a good way. If sounding juicy could be good. The sounds are better in later games, so it's not like they screwed up sounds forever in this one, but it just kinda half works. One more thing I didn't like about this game was the intense gravity it had. It just kinda felt out of place, like you permanently had the gravity on high. It's not a huge deal, but it was just really strange. As you can tell, I really could go on for quite a while talking about how much I love this game. I don't want to go too in depth for fear of boring everyone, but I will explain one more thing in the game. As you saw in the intro, I have some footage of Master Hand fighting and multi-man melee. This game is the only time you can do something like that without hacking or modding. If you want to try it, go ahead and just look it up. There are hundreds of videos and explanations on how to do it. It's a really cool experience though. It's also pretty fun to pull this trick on your friends and surprise them in Melee by playing as Master Hand. The reason I wanted to talk about this is because of the fact that this isn't something you can do in any other time. Interestingly enough, it actually counts in your records as Mario if you win something like the multi-man Melee. There's some technical reasons why this is that I won't explain just because I probably would not explain it too well, but there you go. Well, those are my thoughts on Super Smash Bros. Melee. I'd like to know what you guys think about the game. Leave a comment about it. Click the annotations on the screen currently to take you to the other parts of the Super Smash Bros. And Retrospect series. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.